perfect, holy creation of God. When you can accept that you are the perfect, holy creation of God, your enthusiasm will grow exponentially. Your enthusiasm for the truth. You may even want to walk down the street saying, "We are the holy creation of God." And I have to say so, because everyone deserves this truth. When you accept that you are the holy creation of God, everything becomes, in your awareness, divinely orchestrated. Nothing is left anymore to coincidence, circumstances, possibilities. You begin to recognize more and more that the hand of God is truly orchestrating your journey. That doesn't mean that you can't rebel against it and do strange things that have nothing to do with the hand of God. But once you touch into your acceptance that you are the holy creation of God, the ego's rebellion will lessen and lessen and lessen, because you won't be interested anymore in that rebellion. The words that you are the holy creation of God can fill the universe with its light and its truth. The words are said easily. Accept them is really to transform the darkness into light. In your own awareness, this is your purpose, to transform. And to realize that even in the seeming non-awareness of most of humanity, there is a longing. Even for those beloveds who have not made the connection between the longing and their own mind or their own thoughts, the longing is there. Sometimes that longing is kind of turned in a different direction, and it's interpreted as longing for something in the world, but it's really the longing to come home. And that longing can be a great friend, because it's bringing you to honesty. It's bringing you to a place that says, I'm not playing this game anymore that I don't care. I'm not playing the game anymore that it's 6 of one, half a dozen of the other. I can take it or leave it. No, I can't take it or leave it anymore. I'm longing. And that longing will be answered. Because the longing itself, on one side of that longing is the mistaken belief that you are not already the light of God. So the longing is, in a way, not touching into the true reality. But the longing does more. The longing stirs your heart. It stirs your heart with the truth that has been with you for every incarnation. You've longed to come home. You've longed for the truth. You've longed for love. You've longed for peace. You've longed for truth. How can we not long for peace and love and truth when deep within everyone has a remembering? And that longing just says, I finally caught up with my heart, and I'm being truthful as I can be. There was a question asked at one time that said, how has your life changed from being so dedicated spiritually? And the answer that came to me was, I'm still suffering, but I'm happy, because I know the suffering is going to end. Because every time I get caught in the suffering, I'm now aware that there is a light at the end of the tunnel that is a for sure. It is guaranteed that I'm going to the end of the tunnel. And it was guaranteed, and the suffering ended. There is nothing in God's will that wants anyone to suffer. All the suffering that you see and that you feel is from a mistaken direction, a mistaken identity, a mistaken idea of separation. But the power of love is not mistaken. It knows completely in its wisdom that no suffering is or should be acceptable. It doesn't serve any purpose. It doesn't have any better outcome because you put suffering into it. Suffering is just a mistake that says, I'm alone, I'm without, and I don't know how to walk this way into what is not suffering. But thank God we don't have to know, because the light of love in all of its various elements is constantly serving every beloved that says yes. Some don't want to say yes, or say yes sometimes and not at other times, or modify the yes. But when the yes is modified, it's fear. It's if I say yes too fully, too strongly, I might be taken at my word that I'm saying yes. Come and transform everything for me. Come and heal my mind, my heart. Come. Yes, yes, yes. Don't be afraid of the yes. It is the best friend that you can have. It is your greatest power. Because when you say yes, all of creation hears it and answers it and moves into your life for your learning, for your healing. Don't be afraid of the power of love that wants to serve you. The only element that is essential is your willingness to be transformed. Sometimes beloveds do funny things like stand on the outside of a bakery or a candy house and say, gosh, I wish I could eat all of that. I wish I could have all that candy. I wish I could have all those sweets. I just long for all of it. And somebody says, oh, the door's open, go on in. Well, no, I better just stand out here and look through the window. And this is sometimes what beloveds do, stand outside looking in when the door is waiting to be entered into. Let your yes be your entering, your commitment, your devotion. Because there is really nothing else to be devoted to. There is no other purpose of being incarnated except to remember the truth of who you are. That can't be held tightly enough because it's the absolute truth. You have no other reason. We have no other reason for incarnating except that we believe we are separate from God. And we incarnate to walk again and again and again in the belief of separation. And it's just time to come home. Time to accept the love that you truly are. And to live that love in all ways. And as we affirm in this moment that there is only love, there is only peace, there is only light, it's affirming that this sanctuary is filled with that love, that light, the grace of God. And that this sanctuary is filled with divine love. Because this sanctuary is filled with divine beings that are always in service of love. There is only one presence here. It is the life force of God. That life force is waiting to be ignited within. It is your true life force. It has nothing to do with the body per se. It has to do with your heart and the acceptance that this beautiful life force of God is the truth. And when you accept it and live through that life force, you discover the happiness of living with God, in God. So in this moment, accepting the life force of love itself, and to realize that we can move and live and breathe within that life force. Never believing again that you are without, because you cannot be. In the infinity of space, in the brilliance of the presence of God and all divine beings, we celebrate And we affirm our willingness to allow our hearts to be healed. We celebrate all the elements of nature, and we praise all divine beings. And we realize and accept that the splendor of light that shines in the forests is there for us to remember that God is always present with us, and that our masters always lead us. This hymn has the intention of opening the crown chakra, to open your mind to the infinity of God, to open your mind to the awareness of God's presence, always, always here. No infinito do espaço, onde brilha a presença de Deus e dos seres divinos que habitam todos os mundos céus. Verde, azul e branco, rede aguda e mai rainha, no resplendor destas matas, Jesus Cristo, bom mestre, ensina. No infinito do espaço, onde brilha a presença de Deus e Deus seres divinos que habitam todos os mundos céus. Verde, azul e branco, rede aguda e mai rainha, no resplendor destas matas, Jesus Cristo, bom mestre, ensina. Allow this prayer to take your heart and let it be opened by the Divine Mother. I am Mary of conception. I am seeking to open your heart, offering my love and guidance as your suffering world comes apart. Bring your pain like a flower to open. Bring your sorrow to place at my feet. Tears that are watering my garden in the river of Jordan will meet. Oh, my children, I seek your surrender. Both the path and the message are clear. My Saint John is walking beside you, holding your hand through this fear. Keep your strength as you seek to be humble. Let the power that guides you reveal all the blessings of my holy rapture, confirming you know what is real. Bring your pain like a flower to open. It isn't necessary to have pain, but in the belief of separation, most everyone carries the belief of pain. And if you bring your pain to the Divine Mother and allow it to be healed, you will be forever one with the Divine Mother. You will no longer in any way have a distance between the truth of the Holy Mother and your heart. because no one has walked in this world with pain in their heart and ever had it transformed. Beloveds have gone from relationship to relationship to relationship to friends to relatives to strangers sometimes, looking for relief, release. But when you finally discover that the healing comes from the light of love, and it many times comes through the form of the Divine Mother, once you have your heart released from the pain that you carried, you are loyal to that love. You are loyal to that beloved, the Holy Mother. And all relationships then are necessarily needed to go through the loyalty to the Blessed Mother. That all of your relationships rest in the truth of the Divine Mother. And that you no longer keep your spiritual love in a separate place. So you don't have relationships anymore that are earthbound and that are socially acceptable. They all pass through the Divine Mother. And your devotion and your love is then offered to each beloved. Because you have discovered the secret of healing. You have discovered the secret of love that could not be found on this earth plane. And the secret is that the Divine Mother and all divine beings only pour love. They only offer peace. They only offer healing. They only offer joy. And they offer it and offer it and offer it until you're so full that you can't imagine taking any more. And yet they still give. And then you learn through that divine healing, that divine relationship, that this is the love that you're being called to offer. Without conditions, without restrictions, without adapting to anyone's way within the world, but letting it be the center of your universe, that love is your life source and has given you the healing that you so longed for. Oh, my children, I seek your surrender. And I'm holding your hand through the sphere. It will take you all the way to remembering if you allow that love to fill your heart and be the love that you are. Dodging creditors and feeling hogtied. You may think that this is not in alignment with the Holy Mother, but it truly is. You might think twice about leaving the sidelines of love where you were allowed to dawdle. I wouldn't enter the real playing field unless you have no other choice. Surely you can come up with another good excuse to not enter. You could run up some more debts. That could keep you busy dodging creditors, like a rabbit might dodge the fox's hunger. Maybe get a lover on the side, maybe 2, maybe 3. That would probably assure a delay in having to get serious about any inner life for quite a spell. Before you finally decide to do, in fact, to cough up some heart effort at some point. What is the value of putting your faith into practice and concluding there really is something to all this God stuff? Well, for openers, it can become a solid wooden bench that you can stand on to see over the hedge that now keeps your awareness so limited you sometimes feel hogtied and wished you were dead. This God thing, this God stuff. That is sometimes how the ego likes to distance itself from love's light. But it's really a waste of time, because it is guaranteed that everyone is going to finally say, I give up, okay, I'm going, all right. Why not find that place within that finds the enthusiasm for the inevitable? Because it will be so much more of a wonderful journey. It's a painful journey in resistance. But my sense is that everyone has to experience their resistance in order to realize how wonderful it is when they stop resisting, so that you have a clear awareness of how miserable you can make yourself by resisting, and how loving you can be to yourself by accepting. You begin to see and to recognize that it is only your choice that makes you miserable or makes you happy. It's not anything outside. It's not any circumstances. It's almost easier if it is outside, because outside it can be a myriad of different reasons why you want to stay miserable or resistant. And misery is resistance, and resistance is misery. It doesn't have any other purpose except misery. You may think that the resistance is smart. Hey, this is cool. I am really good at resistance. I can work around it. I can play a game. I can do whatever I want, and I will stay in resistance. And boy, won't that be smart. But the Holy Mother is waiting for you. The Divine Mother is waiting patiently with all other divine beings for your resistance to finally lose its gas, to finally that it loses its smart ass resistance. because that's really what it is. There's nothing more arrogant than resistance. You can say it's fear, and it is fear. But with that resistance is, if you look underneath the resistance, there's an arrogance that goes with it that says, I think I can win this one. I think I can stay resistant long enough that everyone else will wake up and I'll be the last one standing. This isn't thought of consciously, but it's worth the look to see if it's hiding underneath. What is my resistance? What am I waiting for? And what do I want? All that love can do, even in all of its power, and it is the power of the universe, in all of that power, it cannot make you say yes. And it's not going to try to make you say yes, because there's nothing in love that battles for anything. Love waits patiently. The Holy Mother waits patiently. All divine beings wait patiently. Love will not even battle with your ego. If there is a battle going on within you, a disturbance of any kind, it's two elements of the ego battling with each other. Love does not battle. Love waits until the yes is finally found. The beauty of remembering and the journey of remembering is that there is no judgment of how long you want to wait. There's no condemnation for your waiting, because the condemnation comes from your suffering. The condemnation comes from the resistance that isn't offering you yourself that love, to eat from the buffet of love, to nourish yourself with all of the gifts that are waiting to be received and accepted. There is a belief that the ego loves that says, well, I don't want to put myself out, because if I make a mistake, I'll be condemned somehow. And there's no truth here. Love waits patiently. Love never judges. Love has no opinion about the time that you want to take. But love holds your waiting, realizing that you are in suffering while you wait. And there is nothing in love that wants you to suffer. Not in any way. And yet love cannot intercede where there is a no. The yes is so important. You can feel the yes, and you can feel the no, and you can feel the maybe, and you can feel the let me see if I want to really go there. Don't let yourself be convinced that there is any advantage in waiting. You will not be disappointed. You will not be hurt by accepting love and by asking for that love to heal your heart. That you could, in this moment, affirm in prayer, heal my heart. Heal my heart of everything that I've ever carried in my heart that is not the truth of love. Empty my heart, open my heart, open it all, cleanse my mind of all of my habits, of all of my idiosyncrasies, of all of my thoughts, of all of my ideas, of all of my strategies. Heal me. And what is it that stops that prayer? What is it in the arrogance of the ego that says, no, I'm not going to be a fool for love. I'm going to wait and see how it goes for others. No. Don't. I can say don't. I can say don't. Don't go there. Don't play the game with your ego that is not your friend. You have tried to make friends with it. You have even believed that it was very friendly to you. It is not friendly. It is vicious. It has no intention of you finding love. It has no intention of healing the beliefs from the past that hold you prisoner of a false identity. Don't resist saying that prayer, and let that prayer become your every moment prayer. Take my heart. Heal my heart. Empty my heart of everything false that I have put there. Every accusation, every judgment, every irritation, every idea of superiority, every idea of pride, all the greed, everything that I have made up that has nothing to do with the truth of love. Heal me. Heal my heart. Heal my soul. Heal my mind. Heal me. This is not too much. This is not more than is reasonably can be expressed. This is not over the top. This is not too much. This is not even as far as I would go. I would crawl on my hands and knees to prove how much I want to be healed, how much I want to remember. And if everyone around you is being cool, is being together, and you think, oh gosh, I want to be together like them. I want to be so cool that I don't care about being healed. I don't care about the truth. I don't care about honesty. I don't care about love. I don't care about gentleness. I don't care about kindness. I don't care about what anybody else gets or doesn't get. These are lies. These are lies. Your soul is the soul of God. Your being is the light of God. The truth of you is beyond comprehension. Can't even touch it. Can't come up with anything that even comes close, not close in any way within this world of separation. Not one thought that anyone has had in this world can touch the brilliance of God's creation. And yet, it's all up to each beloved. But why wait? Why not crawl on your hands and knees? It's not because God says, hey, you better crawl on your hands and knees for me to pay attention to you. No. We crawl on our hands and knees because the humility is so essential to breaking down the ego's hold of arrogance and superiority that you can believe is your friend when it isn't. The ego is happy when you fail. The ego is happy when you distance yourself. And the ego is even happy when you die, because it's guaranteed another life. It's guaranteed, I'm coming back again. I'm going to be here for another lifetime because I was so convincing. Don't believe it. Bring your pain like a flower to open. Bring your sorrow to place at my feet. Let it come, and let that healing be what you truly want. The ego has convinced everyone that playing cool, that being reserved, that being smart is somehow a substitute for remembering the truth of your brilliance. It's a joke. It has no connection. None. I remember the first time that I was in a shamanic ritual, and what struck me was how naive I was, how unprepared I was, how overwhelmed I was. And then I looked around and I saw all these beloveds sitting with their arms crossed and this smug look on their face that they knew it all. They knew they'd been to enough of these rituals that they were okay, they were in charge. But nothing that I felt said, that's the way to go. Be the intelligence that says, I'll be the judge of that. No, I was the one crawling on the floor. And I was the one that was, and I've said this jokingly, that would have been voted least likely to wake up because I was such a mess. But the recognition of being a mess, being upside down and inside out, was a saving grace. It was a saving grace because it was honesty, at least in the sense of I was there to heal. I was there to remember. Didn't even know what that meant. But my yes was there. Even in its being naive, my yes was there. Did I get a letter in the mail saying, Congratulations, you are guaranteed to wake up in 2 years for your commitment. No. There was no guarantee. There was no, I have no idea where I'm going, what I'm doing, and how it's going to be. But I can't live another lifetime like that. And that is the honesty that is the truth for almost everyone. There are very few who can say, no, I'd rather come back again and figure this out again and play this game again. In honesty, there is hardly anyone who would want to say, I want to do this again. I don't want to do this again. Now, I would be glad to do this again if this is what would be of service to love, but not in the identity of the past. And that everybody carries, and that everyone is suffering with, the identity of the past. It's not to be held in a dramatic identity, but it's also to bring honesty to it, that this cannot be God's will, that this life on this earth plane is not God's will. God's will for everyone is freedom. It's light, it's love. It's being able to shape change at a whim. That one moment you can be a hummingbird and the next moment you can be in the body of a fish in the ocean. Because you are everything. Because you are everywhere. Because there is no limitation to love's movement and exploration. Several times I've used a quote from a beloved who was a freedom fighter. Limit the word fighter, but seeking for freedom through the civil rights movement. And this beloved was in a bus on fire where he had been thrown. And he was asked, how did he get out of that? And he said, I had to have a hard talk with myself about what it was that I wanted. Did I want to serve the beloveds who deserved freedom, or was I going to die that day? And he had that hard talk with himself, and he found his way out, and he served, and he continues to serve. That beloved, when he speaks to others, says, my beloved, because he has discovered the truth of love even through that journey. It doesn't have to be through a burning bus, but it does have to be with that same yes. I am here to remember love. I am here to shake off this ridiculous no and find my yes. Find what it is that I truly want. And declare it. God, I'm saying yes. Heal my heart. Heal my mind. Heal me of everything that I've made up. And open my heart to forgiveness. To forgive every single judgment that I've carried. And then show me how to no longer be attracted to judgment. I want the attraction to judgment and opinions to be healed. And it is an attraction. And it will be healed. It will be healed. If you truly want it to be healed, it will be healed. Now, if you have a caveat and you're saying, well, I don't really want to be free of judgment because it's so much fun. It's fun to judge. It's fun to have opinions. It makes me feel better. But that judgment is what becomes the fear of the middle of the night. That is the pain that shows up and makes you not able to sleep because it's so painful. Because it's not the truth of you. And it can't ever be the truth of you. Imagine as much as we've judged, I paid my dues in judgment. But to realize that there is no judgment in God. There is no judgment. You are never being looked at with judgment, opinions of wrongdoing. God sees none of it because love can't see anything but love. It's not possible. So when we judge, we're affirming that we are separate. We're not being the light of God that we truly are. There's no judgment about your judgment, except that it's so painful within. It is so painful. And this need not be. It isn't God's will for you, and it doesn't serve anything. It just keeps you a prisoner, like on that burning bus, not being able to extricate yourself from it. You might think twice about leaving the sidelines of love where you were allowed to dawdle. Hafiz has a sense of humor that knows that maybe get a lover on the side, maybe two, maybe three, and that will assure you a delay. He puts it into terms that you realize that's not going to be helpful. But love is waiting, patiently waiting, and is always there with you, for you, and wants so much to teach you how a divine being is, because you are that divine being. And that's what the schoolroom is for. It's to discover your true self. I see it. That's all that I see, is this divine light that is the truth of everyone. But there's also the awareness of pain that need not be. Let yourself be freed of the pain that comes from believing that you are separate. It has no purpose. It has no worth. It has no payoff. None. And why not use every moment of time for its only real purpose? To remember love and to scream yes. Yes, 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 1,000 times yes. Those who remember always that they know nothing and become willing to learn everything, we'll learn it. It's guaranteed. There's no trick questions in the spiritual journey. There's no trick hoops that you have to dive through. There's no game on the side of God trying to make things difficult for anybody or make you have to squeeze through the eye of the needle. Yes, there is a squeezing through the eye of the needle, but it's only because of the games that the ego plays. It isn't because you have to go through the eye of the needle because it's God's requirement to prove that you're worth the truth of love. It's only because there's so much game playing with the ego that it becomes this narrow place that you have to squeeze through, because you can't take with you anything of your ego. It can't come with you. Thank God. There is nothing in love that wants you to suffer. Not in a moment, not for a lifetime, not for anything. The first time I heard a teacher who was a very simple woman who was, when I met her, probably in her 80s. And that was one of her signature lines is, "I'm suffering, but I'm happy." And the happiness was because she knew that this was not the truth. Even though she wasn't awake yet, she found the happiness of the truth. She knew that she wasn't going to have to keep doing this again and again because she was happy that the suffering was a lie, that it wasn't necessary. I wrote down this teaching. When you limit your learning, in that limitation, we cannot be of one heart and mind. And when you're not in that embrace of one, you suffer. And that can be seen as sickness. And it's not about body sickness, it's about the soul, it's about the heart, it's about the spirit that it hasn't been acknowledged, that hasn't been found and allowed to bloom, even while you're here on this earth plane. Don't limit yourself in any way, in any learning limitation. Love wants to teach you everything that is of truth. Allow it. Healing is freedom, for it demonstrates that illusions will not prevail against the truth. And that truly is healing. The illusion cannot prevail against the truth. And when you accept the truth, healing occurs. When you live the truth, transformation occurs. Live it, embrace it, invite it, let it nourish you every day. Revel in the truth. When there's times when in the journey I would read spiritual truths, and they would take me into bliss just by reading the spiritual truth, just reading titles of truth and small little quips that were truth. And the more that I read, the more that I took it in, the higher I got. I would just get blissed out from the truth. It wasn't that I was living the truth in completion. It was that it was so delicious. It was so nourishing. It was so filled with hope. It was so beautiful to accept that love is all that there is. How could I not be thrilled to remember that love is all that there is? How could I not go to sleep at night with that thought? Love is all that there is. I never have to battle again. I never have to fight for survival again. I never have to be fearful again. Love is all that there is. And even though I wasn't there, it was just so delicious that this is what is true, and that this is where I was going. Let yourself revel in the truth. Let yourself be taken by the truth. There's a beautiful teaching that I don't memorize many teachings or anything. But this teaching said, there is nothing more beautiful or perfect than an ancient hatred that has been turned into a present love. If that were the only teaching, that would be enough. That an ancient hatred could turn into a present love by choice, by your yes. And that you have that much power within you to transform the universe. Because every single one of those ancient hatreds, you have the potential to bring into a present love. You have that much power in your heart, in your soul, in your spirit. It's the most beautiful thing to realize you have that power. That you can be the decider that transforms. And how much you can transform for all the beloveds who are suffering. All the ancient hatreds could be gone by remembering and bringing present love to them. Let that just live in your heart. And not let anyone that came from the past stay in their suffering when you have the ability, the choice, to bring them into a present love. No greater gift is there to offer. And no greater power is there in the universe to transform hatred into love. That is the power that you carry if you choose the yes. Heal my heart. Heal my soul. Heal my spirit. Let me remember. And go into the closet with God and whisper in there, it's really what I want. I'm not kidding. God, I want this. I want it, I want it, I want it. because I want to remember who and what I am. You deserve it. It's what you are. And the only resistance is within. If I can heal, anybody can heal. There is nothing that can't be healed. Nothing. It's just waiting. It's like picking an apple off a tree. It's hanging, it's low fruit. It's just hanging there. Grab it. Ingest it. And be so glad that you're not the person that you thought you were. Thank God. There's nothing more depressing than looking in a mirror and thinking that you are your past. That's depressing. And there's no costume that you can put on that makes it any less. Because when you look in the mirror, what you see is the past of your pain. It doesn't have to be that. You can look in the mirror and actually see the light of God. But when you look in the mirror and you see the past, this need not be. Look and see and accept only the light of God that you are, and then live it as fully as possible. Don't be afraid of it. Don't be afraid. Only love.